So we're here with Matt from Trivantus, which is a payroll and HR company in New Hampshire and the New England states. We're going to be talking about year-end material today as we approach the end of the 2025 year and move into 2026. And just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about some of those things that businesses might be thinking about, or from your guys' standpoint, what you might be thinking about as you help them out. Before you introduce yourself, the first question I want to ask: why is year end such a critical period for payroll operations?
I think payroll is the year end is a big deal. You start having deductions and um, that are resetting. You got a lot of bonuses with Christmas time. So then you start having a lot of people that are changing maybe tax deposit times that are fluctuating. You have um, W-2s. You have a lot of deadlines regarding that. Year-end filings, quarterlies come to a head because it's the end of the quarter, and then you start getting into ACA, 1099s, other forms that are kind of due from an employer standpoint. So it's kind of a perfect storm where people are kind of rushing around and getting things done all at once, and it puts a lot of pressure on year end wrap up, and then starting the new year, and getting those filings done in a timely manner.
And if we're talking about that timeliness and getting kind of prepared for it, from your perspective, uh, not just the notices that you guys send out to them, but when should businesses really, start preparing for that? When should they kind of be ready to gather information and send that over to you? Is there a time that's too early, or obviously there's a time that's too late, but what would you say for that?
Yeah, so I don't think there's a real solid answer in that, but I mean, as soon as possible, I guess is really the answer, right? So if you have ACA and that's important to you because you're an employer over 50 full-time employees, and you're going to have to do that. Getting that into the system sooner than later, and taking the time to do that now is something that can help. Reviewing, we have something here where we call it Freedom Verify, where we'll go into Social Security numbers and make sure these are accurate, using that service, or going about it yourself and double checking, making sure that all your employees' addresses and everything's up to date with us, really can help, so to say, make the transition to the new year easier. Deductions are going to be changing most of the time with health and things of that nature. So resetting all of that. Obviously, we have the new Secure 2.0 that's happening this year. So anybody over the age, I believe, of 50, you need to have, and you have a 401k, you need to have a Roth. So maybe reaching out to your TPA to start that process. Make sure we're set up to handle the new deduction in that aspect. So really, changing, getting those changes over to us sooner than later. We send out a W-2 edit report to our clients. So looking that over. Bonuses, when we get to the bonus situation, that may change, like I said, your tax deposits timing. So you may need to wire us money, if that's the case. So using those forms, being as prepared as possible, and being in communication, good communication with your payroll company, I think really helps. And so the earlier the better, I guess, is the answer to that.
What type of deadlines should they have on their radar, specifically? As they head into this new year, or this year end and new year time.
Yeah, so I think obviously with W-2s, 1099s, that is the end of January. So those things will, we'll get those out. With W-2s, we'll get those out as soon as possible. Usually the first week or two of January, you should have those in your hands if you're one of our clients. Um, 1099s, we need that information to get you those if we're the one processing those. Sometimes we don't do that for clients, but if you want us to do that, it really comes down to you getting us the information, but that's due by the end of January. And then ACA, I believe, is due, I think February 28th, the paper copies are due, and then the filing is due at the end of March this year. So if that's the case, again, jumping on that, to make sure our system is set up as early as possible, even now, is important. If you're going to get to the end, it really is going to put a strain on our stuff and your own to get that to your employees and things of that nature, because you do have so many employees. Because people that are doing ACA usually have over 50. So again, that's a lot of data entry and things of that nature. So getting that stuff to us as soon as possible to meet those deadlines is important.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. And so you've talked a lot about the information that they need to provide, and that's great to ensure smooth year end process. But if we're looking at how they should communicate those things to you, like the final bonuses, like adjustments, like deductions, anything like that, what's the best way for the communication to happen? Is it
Yeah, so we have forms that you can fill out, but I think the biggest thing is, conversations start with a phone or whatever, to make sure we're on the same page, to give you guys enough direction in terms of when we're going to need something, depending on the size of the bonuses and all of those types of things. So then you're prepared. Follow that up with an email in terms of what you're kind of trying to convey to us, and then we'll probably have to follow that up with some type of phone call and stuff like that for second factor authentication and things of that nature. Regard to 1099s, we have a form. If you reach out to our tax department and we're doing your 1099s, we'll send that email out to you with the spreadsheet that you need to fill out and what you need to fill out. You get that back to us as soon as possible. Again, we'll get that out. With third-party sick pay, if you need to put something on hold because you're waiting for documents or something of that nature, that needs to be into us, you know, on the 31st. If you're putting something on hold, you need to let our tax department know, ASAP, so we can put that on hold and we're not doing double work, over here, because we're processing things, and then all of a sudden you get back to us and say, oh yeah, we forgot to add the third party sick pay in, and it's, January 10th, and now we have to redo W-2s and all of those type of forms. So, again, just kind of being in constant communication with us, and each department, so, that would really be helpful to us and for your preparation. So, you're not scrambling around, trying to do wires or, if it's a bonus and, trying to get third party sick pay documents to us and things like that. So the earlier the better. But those deadlines are usually the end of the year. If you don't have anything that needs to be put on hold, and if it's put on hold, make sure we know that, by the 31st of December.
That's a lot of it sounds like there's a lot of communication between you and the client, the employer. How about employee communication? So employers to the employees specifically, what should they communicate to their employees ahead of year end? W-2 delivery, address updates, anything like that. And if there are any last minute updates, changes, or anything like that, what are those corrections? How should they be handled? So avoid headaches for them, avoid headaches for you.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that it's important, check your pay stubs, do those types of things. If you've had a address change in the year, obviously your social security number, make sure that's your HR professional at your organization. Get with them, make sure all that stuff is correct. And then when you get your W-2, like I said, we produce those pretty early in January. I would open it up, make sure everything's all right, make sure everything looks correct to you. If there's any changes or any questions, reach out to your HR professional or your employer and at your company, and they'll get in touch with us. I mean, we can't take personal phone calls from employees. That's just not appropriate. So it would all go through your employer, and making sure that those are done correctly as early as possible will save, any reprints. But once you get them, don't wait till you go to, you know, your accountant on, April 14th to do your taxes to wait and check the data, because it's going to be really hard for me to turn around a W-2 in one day. So, get it, open it, look it over. If you're getting it digital, same thing, print it, look it over, make sure things are right on your end. And then you should be good to go.
Excellent. Anything else? Any other comments as we kind of head into the end of the year? Anything else that you want to mention or say before wrap
No, I think, throughout this, it's just been the communication, right? Be communicative to your employer, if you're an employee. Um, Employers, HR people, payroll people, please, reach out to us. If there's anything different going on in your environment, that, whether it's payroll deductions, those types of things, get those to us as early as possible. So, really paying attention to that stuff, would be really helpful for us and for you. Um, and then, if you're watching this and, you're a possible client of ours and you need help, we're more than welcome to help. Get in touch with us. We can help you with your taxes and things of that nature, tax filings and things, for year end, or, for next year as well. So, happy to help anybody that's looking for, either a new payroll or HCM